Hello and welcome back to Factorio. We're in exotic industries, and between episodes I put down this uranium mine. It's not very well defended. We're in the middle of bug country. I've rescued the power situation. So the fix let's go back a step. We were in this power death spiral where we didn't have enough power to make our nuclear power stations work. The culprits were twofold. Firstly, the steam goes through these duct intake and duct exhaust widgets, and they require power to work. So, if power is cut, then we can't get the fluids into the power station or out of the power station to generate power, which is a bit of a chicken and egg problem. So, what I started doing at the end of last episode was putting down solar panels so that this area was self-powered, and that worked enough to get the factory alive. So I was using the tier 2 solar panels, and that was enough. If I filled both the top and bottom block with the tier 2 solar panels, that was enough to make the power station run during the day. During night it didn't work, and there were two reasons for this. The first is there are some roboports which are covered by the power generation of the centre. Now, I could start deleting roboports, but if I started doing that, then I wouldn't have logistics coverage for the chests with the fuel in, and that would be sad. The other thing that was to blame was these things, these neutron harvesters, neutron collectors. So apparently they have an internal capacitor. So while they're charged up, they have quite a low power draw, which we can cover with a couple of solar panels. Once they become uncharged, you then need several megawatt to get them going again. So that meant during the phase where we were repowering this unit, there was a huge power draw from all the neutron capture. So what I did was take a copy of one of these nuclear power stations and drop it into a creative world. I put down one of the electronic interfaces inside this network and one outside the network. The one outside just drew all excess power generation. And I was able to work out how much power was needed internally, both during the day and during the night, to keep everything going. And it turns out that if I use the purple solar panels and 4 banks of 45 capacitors, we're very much in the green for power and for overnight power within here. So this unit is net positive on power 24 hours a day. So that means whatever happens to our factory, this nuclear power station will continue to generate nuclear power. The other thing was I had to be really careful with my wiring. So if we turn on wires, so there's actually an electricity network here which only covers these substations, and these substations. This is a totally isolated power system. And there was a lot of going through with the wire clipping tool, snipping extra wires which had bridged this internal network to this external network. If it's bridged, the solar panels are now contributing towards the 3 gigawatt megabase we've built. And obviously it's a drop in the ocean for that. We can't generate a kilowatt off these panels, but the megawatt, 10, 20 megawatts it generates. What are we producing at the moment? No, hardly anything, because it's daytime. We're all good. So it's not even a megawatt to keep this ticking over during the daytime. So this is more than enough to run this, but if it gets bridged to the outside world, it can't run this at all, so the nuclear power plant stops. So anyway, we have 3 nuclear power plants here in Raccoon City. I have upgraded our thorium production because that ended up being a bottleneck, and also I had to do some other work with arms because there's actually quite a lot of stone to get rid of. I should upgrade the belt to blue belt, I think. But you see, this is backing up because it can't quite get rid of the stone. Yeah, I think I am going to upgrade this belt. So that will happen in the background with our bots. I think if I'm upgrading some of the belt, I'll upgrade all of it. And then you'll see I've got... Let's go to the one I haven't upgraded yet because it's easier to see. I had to alter how this stone feeds in. So it's now on some wire conditions. I think I must have calculated the ratios completely incorrectly, I guess. So I don't know. It might be belt timing. It might be calculating ratios wrong. But basically, these things kept saturating the belts. So then these couldn't empty, which then the thorium couldn't get out. The stone couldn't get out, so it couldn't load the new stone in. It was all a bit of a mess. There's probably something I can do where instead of having these things putting onto a belt, I could have them putting out into a box and then pulling in from the box, and only pulling from the belt if the box is empty. That's how I would probably do it in future. But for now, this hack with circuit conditions works. So these things are only allowed to feed stone in if this belt is almost empty of stone. And it does keep everything going. So I'm going to upgrade this belt here, and let's hope that it doesn't go too fast for the long-handed inserters to pick up. It's always possible the long-handed inserters now won't be able to collect. Now I think that is working better than it was before. But you still have these things backed up, and if these are backed up, then we're not producing thorium, so we're not making the fuel cells we need. Yeah, so I'm not totally convinced that this is the right thorium build. Alright, back to what we're doing. Let's blueprint this stuff down so that it can be building while I'm talking. So I need a loading station. It needs to be fluids. And let's get all the... Good. And we'll blueprint it down again. Okay, the reason we're doing this is we have a variety of droughts going on in our station. So there's basically lacks of just about everything we can imagine. All right, I don't want those, do I? I want the... that's the only thing we have. Okay, so it looks like I'm doing a trip back to the station. Let's go there. I'm going to set up a personal request for some pump jacks. I don't know how many we're going to need, but 40 is a good number. Okay, what else? Right, our research is going very slowly, and the reason is always this. It's always this quantum age pack. And the reason quantum age is slow is always the space data. Also, we have issues building things. We just don't have the assembling machines. The reason the space data is slow is because we can't make either the rocket fuel, and the rocket fuel we can't make because of a petroleum drought, or we can't make the rocket parts. And the reason we can't make rocket parts when we can't make them, of course now it's backed up, isn't it? The reason we can't make rocket parts when we can't make them has been for a ton of different reasons, but they have all eventually come back to the same reason as everything else, which has been either we've run out of petroleum, plastic. So if we look at these plastic builds, they're not running, right? And they're not running because we don't... This just doesn't have... Oh, this does have the petroleum. This doesn't have the oil. All right, that was a bad thing to look at. These are the petroleum ones we should be looking at. These aren't running because we don't have the crude. And these are our good production. Actually, I should be retiring these. So let's put map markers to remind us to retire it. Add tag. There. And there. And then I think... Yeah, they're just not running, are they? They're not getting the resources they need. So I'm going to delete these. And I'm going to restamp them. We've got a wiring issue, as always. Okay, I think if I delete that and then paste one in over the top, that will fix itself. Okay, we should now have our pump jacks. Yes, we do. Good. So, in fact, let's stand somewhere that's safe inside our lasers. The other thing that was happening was we were not getting the electronic parts we needed at one point because we did not have red chips. Let's find an electronics parts build. Okay, so this is lacking red chips. You can see there's just none. When I went to the red chips build, I found they were doing local sulfur production. So I've replaced, and that was bottlenecking, that was just not running. So I've replaced this with requesting sulfur from our sulfur production module. That solved the sulfur problem, and then this grounded out on plastic. Also, these weren't running at one point because they did not have the green circuits. The green circuit build we were using was an extremely ancient one. I have upgraded it to green assemblers and to a blue belt for the circuit output, and that seems to be running much more smoothly. So for now I think we're okay for green circuits, but green circuits doesn't really use any plastics. Alright, so what we're trying to do at the moment is sort out, let's just get the right deconstruction planner here. Don't want any cliffs. Good. Right, so what we're trying to do now is get more petroleum into our base, basically, because we do not have enough and our factory is dying for lack of it. And I've never found a neat way to deal with these things. Do we have a really big tank? 200k, 75k, 200k, that sounds good, doesn't it? I'm just wondering if I can I just bring all of these directly into a huge tank? And then that just solves our piping issue, doesn't it? They all get their own input to a tank. It's profligate, but you know, we're playing a computer game. Okay. Whoop, that's not going to work. Okay, let's bring this in a different way. One thing I don't like about these high buildings is that some of them, the icons extend up past their bounding box. So I don't know if you can even see here. There's an input-output arrow here. So this building extends up in imagery by 2 tiles above its bounding box. But if you imagine this here, that's only 1 tile up, that would be there. Yeah, it's just all a bit annoying. When buildings extend beyond their rendering, I just think that's a bit annoying. Okay, so I want that there, really. I guess the simplest thing... Yeah. It would be nice if there was some mod where if you place things down over water and they can't fit because, you know, water, if it just automatically added landfill, that would be a mod that I would be interested in. What would you call it? Auto landfill. Let's get some of these fish. It seems a shame for them to be swimming around in the wild when they could be going to the moon, even though we're making billions and billions of fish. Okay, so we need to somehow get this oil into this station. And I think that's going to be... Actually, if I do that, and I take a blueprint, and I include tiles... Okay. Let's put that back how it's supposed to be. Alright, so now I should be able to... Wow, sometimes I'm cleverer than I think I am. Okay, and can we step on that? Yeah, we can. Ah, that can't reach. Okay, but we can go around. I'm wanting to walk on water for two reasons. One is aesthetic, the other is we have biters, and I'm quite keen not to get eaten. Okay. Is that about right? Okay, I realise there's a bunch of wrong items here for corners and things, but we can... Okay. So is that all connected? I think it is. We don't have any lights around here. Do I have any lights? Yeah, I do. Alright. I'm just going to put some down. I like to have some idea what's going on in my work area. Okay. Then I think we want a pump here, because I want to empty this big silo. And where is a normal common or garden pump? I can never find these sorts of items. There you are. Okay. So that's doing the job, isn't it? Yep, we are now filling this station. I don't know what the logic is on this one. Okay. Let's go over and have a look at the logic. There's always a chance that we've got some problems with wires, so I'd rather fix it now while we're here. Okay, so this appears to be wired to the pump, rather than... That doesn't seem quite right. Okay, so... That seems better. Okay, so that's 24K. This is the base enabling, saying it's enabled whenever something is... You get a green whenever there's anything. This is the other enablement, and then this is 95K. Okay. So I think what's happened here is somehow... That's wired, that's wired, that's wired, that's wired. Yeah, I think there's a glitch in the blueprint book where this is wired to the pump rather than to the first tank. So I'm going to... I'm going to write that down as a bug. Okay. You can't see this, I'm afraid, because I'm screen capturing the window rather than the desktop. So there's a bug in the station for fluid loading. Green wire to pump rather than tank. Okay, so I will fix that, and it will go towards my upgraded blueprint book. Goodness knows how that happened. All right, so this is all nicely generating. Do I have any speed modules? Because that would be really what we want to do here, wouldn't it? But I think we are still... Yeah, we're still at deficit on speed modules. All right. At least we're now power stable. All right, we have a problem here where bugs keep coming down this bit of rail. And then they nibble on us. And then they break the power. Once the power's broken, bad things. So I think what I'm going to do is set up a defense here. This is a bit of a bitty episode because obviously our issue is bottlenecks. So I'm firefighting all the bottlenecks. So we've set up the petroleum station. The next thing we're going to need to set up is a petroleum unloading. And I guess we'll unload it into Megacity 1 somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. Alright. So now that we've done a repair, have we... Yeah, this is alright. Okay, so this station is totally dead now. I think if I disable that... No, I'm going to have to actually visit that. I can't just disable this. Oh, can I turn it off? I can. Brilliant. So now then, this station is set for cleanup. It's going to come in and load, rather than when there's a full train load, just constantly in while there's anything. The circuitry has two states on the stations. One is only load when there's enough material to load, and the other one is load if there is non-zero material. Alright, so what I want to do is put down a laser box here. And the idea is, hopefully, we can encourage bugs to not come through this way. Let's take that out. Alright, the water is a good defense. Good. So hopefully this will stop bugs from coming down this bit of track. Because it keeps happening. It's not just a one-off. There you are, a bug corpse there. Alright, what's the next thing? We need to do our unloading station for oil. And I think Megacity 1 is the place to unload oil. And I think maybe... Can we unload it here? That's a bit congested. So how about we unload it here? Alright, so what I want to do is take these out. Good. Then I'd be taking my life in my hands to destroy these, wouldn't I? Oh, 14 things being destroyed. Okay. Yeah, this is a really soft corner. It keeps getting attacked. Okay. I think the other thing we can start doing is this is the full... Sorry. This doesn't have the plasma turret and the artillery on it, so bugs are starting to creep in. I think it's time to start putting down our full artillery pillbox. So let's take that. Okay. And we're just going to stamp a few of these down. First of all up here. We're just going to go around one side of each city at a time. Don't know that we need this. Well, let's do the top one. Yeah, I don't think we need to do the ones down here. Okay, so that will start clearing out this area. Once that's done, I'll start stamping here, here, and so on. We'll just work around. Okay. Where was I? Let's go back to Raccoon City. Turn off the power lines because they're annoying. Okay, on the map, I started taking this apart, which is good. I want to restamp the flooring. And then I want to do a fluid unload station. And it may as well be a double fluid unload. Unload for fluids. Down that goes. Good. So, fingers crossed, this will now get put in. I can hop out of this, and I can jump into Megacity 1. It was probably actually quicker just to walk down, to be honest, but let's head on down using our super speedy legs. Oh, lots of trees have cleared out, so let's... There we go. Alright. So... I want this to be... let's have a look how we're naming stations. Okay, so if we look at the uranium, this is named as request uranium. Okay, so we'll do the same thing here. This will be request crude. Okay, we may as well have two stations that are request crude. Then I'm going to have a circuit condition, which is, let's find the decider combinator. Okay. I kind of want to be able to reuse the exact same thing both sides, so we'll wire this in, and it's going to be set train limit. Good. And the train limit is going to be crude is less than 25k. Output 1L. Okay. And that's that. Then I think we can do the same here. Good. Then let's have a fluid depot. Do I want one fluid depot or two? I think I want two. Okay, let's line it up at least. Okay. That's the wrong way around. Try this again. How could I get that wrong? There and there. I think fluid depots actively pump fluid in, so I don't think we need a pump. We may do. Okay, this is an old style block. It doesn't have this. Okay, we're wiring down to there. I'm just trying to work out how the wiring goes. It's a bit confusing. I wish there was better visualizations for wiring, basically. There's power here. There we go. That will sort it. Okay, so then these should now have a limit of 1. Yeah, that's good. Then I think I can drop in a fluid train. I'm fairly sure I have trains blueprinted. Yep, 141. So let's drop in one of those. Awesome. Then we can probably take this arrangement. Let's see if this fits. It's going to be tricky because of the pumps. But we only need the front and the back one. We don't need the middle one because we're not using short trains. Yeah, there we go. So I can get rid of this arm and this box. So that will take care of refueling the trains. What is next on the list? Ah, yes. So let's take that station name. We are going to paste it here, except it's not the blue box. It is the red box because this is a provider of oil. Good, and then we can set this to oil provider, full cargo, or inactivity 5 seconds. Is that what I want? Yeah, I think it is. And then I can go to fuel requester, empty cargo, inactivity, but this is an and. So at the far end, if everything's run out, I want it to wait for 5 seconds and come back. At this one, I need it to have emptied, and I also need it to have been inactive for 5 seconds, which means it's guaranteed to have been refueled. So if I set this to automatic. Okay, so this is now waiting on a destination. This is still blue because have we not... Okay, these are all saying 24 of 25k. That, to me, sounds like it's a pumping issue. Okay, so this has 99k oil total. So input... No, this is calling in... It's not wired across. Okay, so then same station, there's another bug. Okay, there's no wire to set the limit. So let's... And I'm actually starting to wonder if... Do I have any teleports? Yes. I'm beginning to wonder if I should have a... If I should set up these outposts with a teleporter. Can I run faster than I can use a spider? I guess we will find out. I mean, the benefit of a spider is that it's hands-free. I don't need to think about it. All right, up we go. Okay, so I think it is the... Oh, it's the green wire. Yeah, so no green wire for station to set limit. Okay. What happened with this book was originally I made it for a Crestorio 2 playthrough, and that has iron poles as well as wooden poles, and I'd used iron poles in that playthrough. I then did a replace of iron poles to wooden poles, but it's possible I botched up. Because I do that occasionally. Right, let's jump in the train. Turn off my legs. Okay, so we now have some crude. And these are filling up nicely again. You do get a rounding error issue where if you're trying to fill a tank, it's 25k capacity. If you don't have a pump actively filling it as the final thing, then it only fills up to 24.99999. So you get a sort of almost rounding error where it won't quite finish filling. And if it won't quite finish filling, you don't hit the 25. So if you have some conditions set on it being 25k, they are never triggered. Just letting you know that. Okay, so that train has unloaded its oil. These have... Oh, it's already going to refill. That is awesome. So this has 20k in. This has an input of 78k. This is only going to trigger when it hits 25, but we've got the second station, so it'll come in and fill this up. So the one train will load balance across these two crude stations, which is really nice, I think. Right, next thing. Okay, so after, yeah, I should mention this. After I'd got these working, they produced just shy of 3 gigawatts of power. My station was drawing 4 gigawatts. So what I've done is put down 3 more reactors. 1, 2, 3. So we are now... Yeah, that's the internal. You can see it's drawing power from the panels. from the accumulator and from a few of these steam turbines. All right. The base as a whole, it now has nearly 6 gigawatt to draw on. And we're using 2, but, well, we're using nearly 3. But you can see that the plasma turrets are the big draw. So they're nearly 2 gigawatts of our draw. Only 47 of them. But plasma turrets are an integral part of our defences. So as we scale up our factory, we are going to end up with more plasma turrets. Alright, it looks like these have done their job. They're not firing rounds, and we've got a nice area explored. So let's take that again. Okay, and we can start stamping this down. Okay, that's a full set there. It's possible we'll end up with an incursion this side. Let's take a blueprint of one that's set up for that. I just want to try and safeguard this corner. Corners tend to take a lot of punishment. Okay, so that's the next side that's going to get its artillery set. Let's see what these trees do. Oh, it's just a bit of fire. We're fine. Totally fine. Nothing to see here. Everything is absolutely fine. Actually, not a problem. All right, so how are we doing with our crude? Are we... The train's out again. This is empty. This is nearly empty. Okay, so we were not a moment too soon getting this. Okay, what's going on here? So this is not quite full. Okay, so we have an issue where obviously these limits are not quite set correct. So 4 tanks would be 100, 25 each. And what is it setting the limit on? 95. Okay, but does this have 59? This only has 59. So there's something wrong with this circuitry where it's calling in a train too early for some reason. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at this offline because you don't want to watch me debug a circuit. But what I can do is request in some speed modules. How many crude pumps are there out here? 6. So I could call in 12 of these. And are they? No, there is 0 in storage. Okay, so I can't even speed module the oil yet. But anyway, we've done a thing today. We've set up an oil outpost, which will go some step towards solving our oil problem. We've started stamping down artillery, which are making big booms happen. Another crude oil here, which we may end up needing to tap. And I think I'm at the point where I just need to go out and acquire all the resources we can by train, so that we have trains full of resources. Crude is our current bottleneck. So I may even set up a train here. Although I think this is being... Yeah, this is being emptied, isn't it? This is being acquired at the rate it's used, and this is being acquired at the rate it can be pumped. So it's a question of I need another oil patch. So it might be this one out here. I don't know. There may be another one that gets uncovered by our artillery. But anyway, it's going to take a few minutes for the artillery to do its job. So I will let it do its job while you're not watching paint dry. I am probably going to start systematically mining all the resources which are sort of within the skirt of our base. And I'm going to start mining them into trains, I think, just so that we've got the train infrastructure set up. So after I've done that, I will then be back next time. And as you can tell, the big issue at the moment is, after oil, is power generation. So I'm going to start looking at alternate means of power generation. And I think the one I should be looking at is fusion power. So next time, pinky promise, we will be looking at fusion power. So till then, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will be back soon. Bye-bye.